Alright guys, just because you know how to call a crane and hook it up to a unit does not mean that you should be changing units, because what the fuck are you doing? They either bought the wrong curb or used the old one. It looks new, so I'm assuming they bought the wrong one. Well, they tried to set this one. I don't know if they freaking, but then there's freaking Pookie here. I don't know if they like reused this unit. They probably reused it. They probably reused this unit and bought a new curb. Well, they set it down over here. Half of this supply duct is blasting into the attic and onto the top of the roof. Okay. Oh, look at that. Found some free tools. Well, the other half is going to where it's supposed to go, into the supply plenum. Customer says that since they moved in 4 months ago, it hasn't kept up. Well, I wonder why. Jesus. You guys need to step your shit up. And then what the fuck is this? Come on, man. That's custom. Yeah. Perks of doing things the right way is, I mean, I'm blessed to be able to do this job, but holy shit, man. Sometimes it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? All right, so my game plan, because I know this thing caught on fire, I'm gonna make sure that motor's the right motor. I'm gonna get that contactor out of there. And given the circumstances for today only, I'm gonna quote them a new curb, but for today, I blanked off, I screwed that down, and then put some mastic tape around it to cover up the attic opening. And then it's gonna blow, it's gonna try to force all the air down that, like it's probably, I don't know, maybe a 10 by, maybe it's a 12 by 12 opening of that plenum. Obviously there's like 8 inches more that way, but I can't lift this thing by my damn self. So we're gonna have to get him a new curb. But for today, blank that off, clean the coil already. Everything seems like it's gonna work okay. The compressor seems like it's pumping. I'll check all that stuff later, but I'm gonna run new wire. I'm gonna put that contactor back in there because they did that contactor since they put this, what is it called? Aftermarket, fuck it, I can't talk. They put this motherfucking aftermarket Mars blower motor, and then obviously before I had an ECM with the 24 volt inputs. They use the heating and the cooling output of the circuit board to energize that contactor. So the blower motor is 1 speed. But given the circumstances, I'm just gonna make it to where pretty much I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna do it in the electrical compartment and run wire to this blower motor. And I'm gonna take it out and make sure that I wire it correctly for the application. Alright, here's the update of what I did. So you'll learn, well, actually you might not ever learn this. It's maybe one of the perks of being a business owner is you get to do whatever the fuck you want to do. So this is going to be probably a temporary, permanent solution. And that's the thing about a good enough temporary fix, is if it works, it's going to be permanent. Now, because I have my own business, I could do this and then not have to be tracing out the ductwork and seeing what the customer, you know, what's going to be the best solution. Honestly, neither here nor there. But I get to do shit like this. I use the same contactor that they had. I ran new line voltage to it. And then this is overkill, but it doesn't fucking matter. You can do overkill on wire, you just can never undersize wire. So I ran 10 gauge wire, that's all I have, to the blower motor, and then I piggybacked the heat and the cool output of the circuit board. So this is going to be an output of the circuit board. You can't do this on a thermostat terminal strip because you'll jump out heating and cooling at the same time, whether each one of them is running. So because this circuit board outputs heat and cool 24 volts here, because it backfeeds, so you can't do that on a thermostat terminal strip. You'll turn on both at the same time. But this had an ECM motor, so okay, this is what I'm talking about. You already know that's what happened. Okay, I blanked off that strip right there. Well, the motor that they put in before is a 1/3 horsepower. This thing takes a 1/2 horsepower, and the reason why it probably died, I don't know. We could speculate all fucking day, but the return duct on this thing is like a 12-inch, maybe 14-inch. Well, it needs to be an 18-inch. This is a 3.5 ton unit, I believe. Might be wrong, but it's small. So anyway, the ECM motor's dead. You know, some people will probably tell me I need to change out that ECM motor. Well, unless they address the real issue here, which is the curb and the ductwork, another ECM motor is going to die. So this makes the most sense for the customer, and that's what I like to do. You know, owning my own company, I get to decide. I mean, I don't tell the customer what to do, but I tell them what makes the most sense, and this makes the most sense. I'm going to leave what they have for now. What I want to do is change the curb, change the ductwork, change the ECM motor. But I don't know if you've ever bought a home before, but when you buy a home, you're fucking broke. So these people are now my friends that live here, and I don't know their financial situation, but I can tell you what, if they're anything like me, when I bought my house, I didn't have that type of money to be doing all this shit like this. So, well, all the shit that I'm recommending. So this is what I'm gonna do, and it's most likely gonna work, not ideally, but it's gonna get them by, and they're gonna be happy. And then when they're ready and they have money and they feel like spending it, I'll take it. But until then, this is what's gonna be, and I get to make that kind of a decision. So I'm learning that's probably my favorite part of having my own company, is I get to do this type of shit. I get to make the decision of doing what makes the most sense for the customer, not always trying to benefit the company and make the most money, and not offer options that make sense and only offer options that make money. I think that's fucked up, and ProTemp Solutions changing the motherfucking game. We're gonna take over the world, I'm telling you. Do what's right for the customer, and God rewards that type of stuff. I'm telling you. I cleaned up all this wiring. Again, you can only paint a shit bronze, but I damn near got this thing to silver. So this is probably gonna work. I'm gonna go turn the power on and see what it does. All right, guys. Now I can say with that pretty much absolute certainty, since I just noticed what those panels look like. I didn't really pay attention in the beginning. This is most definitely, what do they call it? A flippin' something house flipper special. I don't know. It's called like a flippin' dip or chip and dip. I don't know. One of those. They definitely took this unit from somewhere that had like either an elbow, who knows? It could have been anywhere. But those aren't even fucking panels for that unit. They just stuck them on there. Flexible gas line sticking out of the curb. That's lovely. I know the manual says it needs a P-trap. I read it. It's on the positive side, but the manual says you need a P-trap there. I like how they ran MC through the plenum into the bottom of the unit with no disconnect, straight to the contactor. So I have to turn the breaker off to shut power off to this thing. I mean, I will say the curb is installed nicely from the outside. So I'll give them credit where credit's due. And then in the other video where I showed the blower compartment that caught on fire, the insulation caught on fire or whatever, who knows. They did get the blower rotation correct. So good job there. And good job with this curb installation. Even though I think it might have got a new roof and the roofers probably made it look like nice like that. But yeah, most likely that's how it went down. But this is the shit that pisses me off, is because I'm gonna ask the homeowner. Mind you, he's a young guy, new homeowner. This is a house in downtown Fresno. He bought this house 4 months ago. I guarantee you they told him that they got a brand new AC or a new unit. It was a new to him, but oh, and then I popped the top off this thing because when that insulation caught on fire, it blew the foil into the coil, so it was like fluttering up against the coil. So I got that popped out and taken care of. Yeah, the compressor's working good. The system's cooling. The supplier temperature is higher than I would expect. I already know my static pressure is going to be at high, my split is about 25 degrees, which, given the circumstances, hey man, I'd say that's a win. Okay, I guarantee you, this is some Frankenstein shit, and I guarantee you the customer's going to be happy with this. Of course, I would want to do the ECM motor. I would want to pick up this unit with the crane, reorient that drop, or buy the correct curb for it and replace the curb. Probably that's what I'll do, so I can correct all the other stuff. Like, man, taking on new customers, it's like kind of crazy sometimes, because now like this is my problem, and people's shady stuff. You got to make sure you check all your boxes so you can walk away from this being the last one that touched it, and now it's your responsibility. So obviously you could walk away, but like I said earlier, these are some good people and I want them to be taken care of, and the last thing I ever want them to do is somehow get the same people that did this and get them to come back out here, because Jesus. So there's quite a long list of stuff that should be done, but for now I think they're going to be happy, and as far as I can tell, that's all they want. So 55 degree supply, 80 degree return. Again, the existing blower motor is undersized on the horsepower, and it's also trying to overcome that restriction in the supply side. So whole mess of issues, but as long as they're happy, I'm happy.